Graduates, you look great. Got all dolled up. Just need some serious high heels up here. Hair's done, you look fabulous. You know, I was just looking at some graduation pictures of myself. Generally what I say is, I looked great. I'm sure you will too, I wouldn't worry about it. Actually, I forgot something. Graduates, if you earmuffs just for a sec. We've got them surrounded. So the go word will be pumpernickel. Throwing. All right. I'd like to talk to Health and Human Services. I was just threatened by an administrator. No, I'm serious. So I know that it's unusual for a band director to be selected to do this, and it really is a great honor for me. I have 62 seniors this year, and that's not all of them. I view that as a personal failure. Somewhere I missed you, and I'm working on it so that I can have all the seniors in a class. I'm not sure how the high school schedule is going to work once we're able to do that, but some of you will get a period off, which would be exciting. I think more of you know me than you think. If you haven't been in class, you're just used to seeing me like this. Bald spot gives it away. I don't have to look at it. All right, I'm really excited actually to be here and to speak with the seniors who aren't in band, because I have an opportunity to give some advice to some fresh listeners. I've been doling out advice for years and years and years to the band seniors with less than stellar results. I advised Doug McClellan not to turn the back of his pickup truck into a swimming pool on the first day of band camp. You didn't listen to that. Now, I'm serious. Lord knows I advised Will Medlock not to grow that gross mustache. And I certainly, although he may have forgotten, I doubt it, certainly advised David Rodokas that if at halftime, when the high school band comes to attention in the MI, you find yourself 45 yards away from your spot, don't turn and run in slow motion as the crowd watches in horror. Anyway, I'm going to try again tonight with some advice here and see how it works. But I thought I'd start with a story. I have a 9-year-old son named Duncan. I think he might even be here tonight. I'm excited about that. He's probably excited about to hear this story. And he's a great kid. But when he was 4, he was really exploring a lot of ways to not make it to 5. And my brother had just bought a boat, and Duncan and I were out on the water where his uncle had to repeatedly ask him, he was in his life jacket, repeatedly ask him to sit down because he was flirting with swimming and didn't know how. He had to be asked multiple times, but eventually he complied. We were back on the beach and we were about to go out again after lunch. And so I called Duncan over, being dad of the year over here, and I grabbed his shoulders and I looked him in the eyes and I said to little 4-year-old Duncan, D, if you can't listen to your Uncle Ryan, when he asks you to sit down on the boat, then you can't go back out on the boat. And Duncan wrestled his way out of my hands and he stepped back from me. And he looked me in the eyes. This moment of clarity washed over his body, and he said, if you were dead, I could do whatever I want.
Sounds like Ned.
My brother, sitting on a chair nearby, leans over and says, vice versa. Now, at age 4, Duncan hadn't yet learned Latin. Bellevue School District. So I think we're okay on the vice versa thing. But I think Duncan and my brother both hit on an important important irony playing out as you graduate tonight. You see, Duncan had realized that every time someone told him he couldn't do something, that someone was me. He was convinced that if he could remove this simple obstacle, his entire life would be made up of boat rides and Bakugans. What he didn't realize, of course, got a Bakugan fan back there. What he didn't realize, of course, was that every obstacle I was placing in his way was designed to keep him alive long enough to realize that boats are an enormous waste of money, and nobody knows how to play Bakugan. So class of 2013, you guys are super smart. I have often said I have no business standing in front of you. I know that there are times when I'm conducting and I look back at Isaac Groshoff staring at me, and it looks like he's seeing the Matrix. So I know, like if you took a class from Mr. Juba, I'm sure you've already made a connection between my oppressive request that Duncan not drown and your parents' restrictions on your behavior during high school. I'm sure that Mr. Twombly's class has prepared you to analogize the life jacket as a symbol of your parents' restrictions and the boat as a symbol of the opportunities your parents have provided you. And surely if you took a class from Mr. Randolph, you've made the connection between Duncan's imagined liberation from his tyrannical parents and your actual fast approaching liberation from your parents. Indeed, what sweet 4-year-old Duncan hoped to accomplish via patricide, you are months away from accomplishing via matriculation. I can understand why this would be exciting for you. Freedom, late nights, choice, sleep. You can listen to your own music, you can eat what you want, hang out with who you want, where you want, no more sharing your home with a grumpy, bossy authoritarian who thinks they know it all. It's probably exciting for you graduates, too. So I'm joking a little bit, but a lot. But in all seriousness, your parents have been waiting a long time for tonight. Long time. Every Friday in my class now for about 10 years, I've shouted after my students as they scramble out of the class a very simple sounding request. I shout, "Don't lie to your parents, they love you." There you go. This comment is usually met by one of 3 responses. There's the friendly eye roll and reciprocal request that I not lie to my parents. These are the kids who, regardless of their intent to lie or not, probably don't have much to lie about. The second response is the nervous giggle. These are the kids who definitely have something going on that they're not proud of, but are reasonably sure that I don't know what it is, and neither do their parents. There were some serious nervous giggles on Friday. Finally, there is the small number of kids whose actions quietly betray a deeper conflict. They are genuinely confused as to why I would bring up something so sensitive, so serious, in a setting that's supposed to be celebratory. Most folks might say, "Have a great weekend," or "See you Monday." Behind their silence is usually sitting the question, "What does he know?" I feel safe letting you know now that the answer to that is a resounding not much. But the answer to the first question, "Why do I say it?" is hopefully a bit more substantive. In my "Don't Lie to Your Parents" request, I am, futile as it may be, trying to act as the thumb on the scale to tip your mind toward giving the people around you who love you and who are working on your behalf the benefit of the doubt. Now I know where you think I'm going with this, that I'm going to ask you to thank your parents for everything they've done to help you, and I am. But I'm going to beat this issue up. I'm going to talk about it a lot, because I think proportionately it is almost ignored at an event like this. You see, there is no one else on earth who is more invested in your future or who loves you more than your parents. There's no one who's lived the past 18 years of their lives with the sole purpose of ensuring your future happiness. There is no one else who has filtered every decision they've made regarding their own future through its impact on yours. It is your parents who look at each of the stupid decisions you've made not as evidence of who you are, but as events that contribute to who you will be. It's pretty awesome, actually. I don't expect you to completely understand this. In fact, even though you may think you do, you don't. you're biologically predisposed not to be able to understand the depth of your parents' love for you. Because if you did, the pressure to make good on that emotional investment would be crushing. Don't confuse my message of devotion with dependence. It's complicated and it's different for every family here, but deep down, every single parent is ready for you to move out. Tonight is a celebration for them as well, and they, like you, are filtering this ceremony through emotions that include pride, fear, anxiety, sadness, excitement. They're hearing their own ceremony and are celebrating their work and outlining the plan forward for their heart's investment. This can be a little confusing, and so I've gone through some great pains to try to illustrate this point for you. I try to give you a glimpse into how your parents are hearing this ceremony. You see, it's different. They're hearing and thinking different words with this ceremony. So what I did was I made an enormous investment, and I bought this very fancy special microphone that will translate my words into what your parents are hearing. Okay, let's see if it works. Mr. Lane's beard is awesome. Let me try this one. Who's Mr. Lane? All right, it works. Here we go. Dear graduating class of 2013. Dear tiny infant baby child born just weeks ago. You made it. We made it. You've navigated the maze of school and you've come out the other side a fully functioning adult. You still don't use a calendar and can't change a tire, but I don't have to worry about it anymore. These days have been the best days of your life. Birth to 6th grade was great. I started liking you again in high school, with the exception of the junior year. I love you now, though. In the years to come, I want you to reach for that brass ring. In the years to come, we're going to take a lot of vacations without you. Go forward and find your bliss. Don't get pregnant. All right, you get the idea. We're hearing a different ceremony. Now, this event is a celebration of the work you've done. It is, and I'll get to that, I promise. But it's also an opportunity for your parents and the community around you to celebrate ourselves for not screwing it up. We're proud of you, as in, you are something into which we have poured our time and emotion and energy, and we have pride in that effort. You've all each built, adopted, or have had forced upon you a community of people sharing something in common. They care about what happens to you. When I shout, "Don't lie to your parents," this is what I'm shouting. I'm saying, listen, dummies, you have no idea how many people you have working for you. Don't screw it up. Your teachers are proud of a job well done. We feel good about ourselves for sending such talented, intelligent, well-educated students into the world. Through you, we feel that we're doing good. In the most selfish sense of the word, we're proud of you. For your community, you represent a fantastic anomaly. They're bombarded by stories of the failure of youth in education, examples of ignorance, violence, intolerance, poor test scores, a lack of global competitiveness. You, however, somehow are the shining exception. You represent somehow the kids who've succeeded in spite of the clearly crippled and broken education system being inflicted on our nation's youth, sure to reduce the United States to a barely functioning socialist economy devoid of morals with no help for our grandchildren's future. All right, I suppose there's a chance that's not totally accurate, but they're proud of you too. You've earned it. You are outstanding people, and you deserve great credit for the work. You've sacrificed, you've pushed through pain, you've demonstrated that you can do good work. This has been real, and it has been difficult, but I will tell you, with love in my heart, your parents have worked harder. Think about it. Every argument, every restriction, every reluctant lesson, every grammar correction, every chore, every tantrum, every uncomfortable conversation, every new risk, every every consequence, every late night pickup, every permission slip, every insurance premium, every doctor's appointment, every trip, every pet, every new boyfriend or girlfriend, every sports team, every music lesson, every teacher email, late night, early morning, every hug, and every holiday has been part of an investment by your parents in a product that they have known all along that they would be giving away for a lot less than free. Ultimately, this is the difference. It's not that your pain hasn't hurt as much or that your sacrifices haven't been genuine. In most cases, you've hurt more and felt more deeply. It's that largely your work has been in the pursuit of your own consciousness, how you're feeling or being integrated into your own in any given moment. Your parents, on the other hand, have been acting on a deep need to see you through, to do their best, of course, but to do their best for you. And they have. You're inspiring. It's one of life's great ironies that the fabulous potential of youth is hidden to them and mockingly obvious to the adults who love them. Your parents have seen this potential in you since before it was there. They've protected it, cultivated it, invested in it, and now, although they never owned it, they're gifting the care of this potential back to you. You will receive many gifts in the coming days, I suppose, all for which I am sure you will say thank you. But it's this gift of potential that your parents paid for in bedtime stories and birthday parties, rules and consequences, doctor's visits and driver's licenses, and in confidence and in trust that most deserves your thanks. Just because you can't understand how much you mean to them doesn't mean you shouldn't say thank you for how much they mean to you. You will never come to a point where you say to yourself, I really wish I'd thank my parents less. Say thank you. Now would be a great time. Find them in the audience and say thank you. Ready, go. All right. The reason I choose to teach on Mercer Island is because I believe that you, by virtue of your education, access, and resources, are my multiplier. Good and bad, no matter how small, you're the factor by which I multiply my impact in the world. This is exciting and rewarding for me because you, yes, your generation, but more specifically you here this evening, have perhaps the best opportunity ever to make change around you. You're smart. You have smart people as your advocates. You're free to say and believe what you think. You are connected to the world in a way never imagined by previous generations. And if we, teachers, have done our job correctly, you are tired of hearing about it. And you're ready to get to work. So, here's my last stab at advice. You listening, Rodocus? There's nothing innately special about this moment. You are one day older than you were yesterday. It is not special that you've aged. I am pretty sure that this would have happened without Mercer Island High School. In fact, even graduating high school isn't all that special. 3.5 million students are going to do it this year. What's special is your opportunity to choose what comes next. Your parents, teachers, and community have been working your whole life to give you this opportunity, and here's how you can honor that work. In the years to come, identify those people around you who truly have your best interests at heart. You know who they are, who are invested in your future, either because it shares common purpose or because they recognize a potential that you cannot yet see. Bond yourself to these people, help them, celebrate them, confide in them, thank them, trust them. On Mercer Island, these have been your parents, your teachers, and your best of friends. These people are few and far between. They are invested in you, they are precious, and deserve an investment of your own. In short, and for the last time, don't lie to your parents. We love you. Congratulations, class of 2013.